Shawn, how are you doing today, mate?
I'm doing good, brother. How about you?
I'm feeling really, really good. I know that this interview will be something special, and I wanted to thank you for taking the time to do this interview with me today.
Absolutely, Alejandro. It's my pleasure, man.
Right. And now, before we start, there just are a couple of things that I wanted to mention so we can be both on the same page, which are that the purpose of this interview is to reflect back on and talk about everything that you have been dealing with your health for these past couple of years, and how is it that together, while we work together, we were able to resolve these issues through a supplementation protocol, diet protocol, and lifestyle protocol. Okay. And I'm very certain that to anyone that may be watching this, that if you listen to this interview with the purpose of understanding more about the biochemistry of the gastrointestinal tract, particularly the stomach, and you are dealing with probably similar issues to the ones that Shawn once faced, I know that you will find this very insightful, very helpful. And yeah, now, before we actually move on with the interview, there's just one last thing that I wanted to say. So, this interview will be divided in three different sections. The first one, we will talk about Shawn's past history, his health history. The second one, we will talk about the actual one on one work that we did with the protocol, with everything that we did with his health. And then at the end, just a conclusion, just a couple questions, so we can conclude the interview with a high note. Sounds good, Shawn?
Sounds good, brother.
So, the very first thing, Shawn, I want to ask you to tell us about yourself, about your background.
Yeah, so my name is Shawn Heshmatpour, also known as Sheshin on X and on the internet. And I am a men's confidence coach specializing in the men's reprogramming for their subconscious mind and also some lifestyle and business consulting as well.
Nice, nice. And I can personally attest that he's great, just great at what he does. I really suggest to anyone watching this interview to check him out on Twitter. He's he's definitely great.
Thank you.
Now, the actual first question, and this is something where I want us to go really deep. So, which were the actual gastrointestinal problems and symptoms that you were dealing with all of these previous years?
So in the previous years, I had a ton of bloating and I always had this constant sludgy feeling in the lower abdomen of my gut that would always create brain fog, fatigue, shortness of breath, and overall just inflammation throughout my body.
Right, right. And how is it that these issues began? Tell us the story, please.
The issue began like very aggressively January. It was actually January 1st, 2023.
Mm,
And I woke up one morning and I only ate a little bit of chicken breast with some sweet potato. It wasn't unhealthy food or anything. And then I got so bloated to a point where I was seeing colors. I had to lay down on my bed and I just wasn't able to eat normally.
right, right. And after that incident, what did you try in order to try to heal these problems?
So what I tried first was I worked with a functional sports medicine doctor out of San Diego who put me on BPC 157. I was able to eat normally, but I still felt very bad afterwards. Still a lot of
Mm,
bloating, a lot of pain. And then obviously went to some traditional doctors as well, did the whole colonoscopy and all of that. They said nothing was wrong. And then after that as well, I also worked with a functional medicine doctor who uh, gave me certain supplements for my microbiome, certain probiotics for the microbiome, along with L-glutamine. And from there, again, a little bit of help, but the core issue was still there. I still wasn't feeling right. I was still feeling this extra heavy weight that would drag me down and not allow me to focus on the things I love, like my business and serving other clients.
right. So these issues really compromised your well-being and daily life to a great extent. And now I really want to talk more about the specific supplements, medicines, and strategies that you implemented during those years. So, can you tell us more about the protocols that you implemented with the practitioners that you saw back then?
Yeah, so the first one in San Diego was a BPC 157 oral supplement.
Oral.
I did that for about 3 months. And again, little improvement, but not, it plateaued after the 3 months. It was still pretty bad.
Right.
And then the functional medicine doctor as well, it was a probiotic mix, like a heavy probiotic supplement that I would take. I would mix it in with water, mix it into a shake. And then again, same thing. A little bit of relief, but the core issue was still there. I could literally feel it in my body.
Right, right. And you also implemented L-glutamine and a couple antimicrobials, isn't it?
Correct, correct.
Right, right. I see this very often where people have all of these specifically digestive problems. We will talk about the nature of your problems in a minute, but just so that everyone knows here, those problems that Shawn was dealing with are specifically digestive problems. And to someone that may be not as well versed on the topic of the biochemistry of the gut and how it works, very often these problems may come from the microbiome itself being unhealthy, like parasites, pathogens, bad bacteria, quote unquote. But many times, like it was in the case of Shawn, those problems come from specifically the gut not being able to digest food properly, in and of itself and nothing else. And when you have these problems, it's very important that you follow the right approach and that you really evaluate if you really need antimicrobials, because more often than not, these kind of problems stem mainly and purely from inefficient digestive mechanisms. And some, just two supplements that I really wanted to talk about, L-glutamine and the antimicrobials. So particularly L-glutamine, in fact, only L-glutamine. L-glutamine, I see it like very often in the protocols, in the previous protocols of the people that I help, very, very often. And I'm not saying, look, I'm not saying that it does not work. I'm not saying that it's useless. I'm not saying that it's a fraud of a supplement or that anyone that may be promoting it has zero knowledge of the gut. I'm not saying any of that. But what I'm saying is that more often than not, L-glutamine is sold and is promoted as this golden bullet that will heal all of your digestive and microbiome problems. It's very popular. I think it's not a crazy thing to say that it may be the most popular gut supplement out there. I'm thinking which other one? Well, maybe digestive enzymes, but L-glutamine in particular is high on the list. And I have never seen it really create a ton of benefits all at once. So it's important to take all of this in mind in order to really understand and implement the right approach, the right protocol for your case. And this is something that we will talk more later on during this interview, but I really wanted to mention it. So thank you for letting us know, Shawn, about your previous protocols. And now okay, so you were dealing with all of these problems. You implemented all of these protocols ever since 2023. And then 2025, what is it that motivated you to seek for my help?
Honestly, I was just going through a really, really rough time. Had to move back to New England, and the flare-ups were still persistent. And I just knew that I couldn't have kept going like this. I knew something needed to change, and I've tried so many different things at this point. And then luckily that day I was on the phone with a good friend of mine. He told me about how you helped his girlfriend, and I decided to give someone new another shot. I reached out to you. We connected. And just from how we were connecting, I really, really valued that you were introducing me to new ideas and educating me on new ideas about the gut that I've never even heard before myself from other doctors or practitioners out there. So that was one. And then two, it's like you were in a state of caring and wanting to help. I could tell that you weren't just some other health guru on the internet trying to push an ideology on
Right.
to me. You were actually willing to educate me with patience so I could understand it. And when I felt that vibe and when I saw what was going on, I just knew like, okay, I have to work with you because I could tell you have genuine knowledge and you're not just trying to push random supplements down my throat so you can help, you know?
Right. Right. No, yeah, thank you for sharing that story. Thank you. Really means a lot to me. Really means a lot. And now we talked about your issues. We talked briefly. We had a conversation about the potential root cause of your problems. But I wonder, what was the biggest hesitation, the biggest concern about working together?
The biggest hesitation and concern that I had was mostly just like, would it be another protocol that I do and I just feel a little bit okay and then I
Mm,
plateau again? That was
right,
really the biggest concern. Yeah.
right, right. No, yeah, I completely understand that. Like, I mean, you tried so many approaches during those 3 years. You tried peptides, you tried antimicrobials, you tried probiotics, you tried very different approaches. None of them really healed you. Yeah, you
Correct.
saw some benefits, but it always was the same problem at the end. I am not healed. And I completely understand that. But I wonder, and you kind of already answered these 2 questions ago, but what was that factor, that which made you decide, okay, I want to work with him? Like, definitely.
Yeah. Well, one, again, it was definitely, like I said earlier, definitely the fact that you were teaching me about the digestive mechanisms from a different angle that I've never even heard before. And then two, on top of that, again, it was like you would ask questions, you were caring in your tone, you were more curious about the whole picture before just giving
Mm,
me ideas on what moving forward would look like. And I
right.
really
If
appreciated that. Yeah, I felt like I could really trust you from that.
no worries. And I'm very glad to hear it. I'm very glad to hear that you felt this way. And that's just very, very good. And I think that's very important to provide this kind of clarity instead of me just telling you, instead of, like, for example, you told me about your problems and I just told you, oh yeah, well, that's interesting, we are going to apply this methodology just because. So do you want to work together or not? I
Right.
really, yeah. So I think it's very important that we are constantly on the same page about why we implement this protocol, why this supplement, why this change, why this other supplement, we are not going to implement it. Like, to have that level of clarity, I think it's very important so you can truly understand why you have your problems, right? And how is it that we are going to heal them. Now, moving on to section number 2, the beginning of the one-on-one work. So we actually began to work together. We had a very extensive conversation about why your issues were happening, what was the real cause behind them, not the potential cause, no, the real one. And then we implemented a protocol. But in your own words, if you had to describe in your own words, what did you come to learn and understand was actually driving your gastrointestinal problems?
So what I really learned at the core from working with you, Alejandro, is that the reason why I was having these digestive issues is because my body wasn't producing enough acetylcholine for, I'm really bad at pronouncing it, but acetylcholine for my body to create more efficient digestion.
Correct, correct. Yes. So I just want to expand here a little bit, but before that, I ask you, and how is it that the protocol that we implemented, every change, everything that we did, how is it that that protocol was actually going to address the status of acetylcholine?
So it was through a series of supplements that you gave me that were
Correct.
directed specifically for that function.
Exactly, exactly. To allow the synthesis of acetylcholine to be efficient once again. And I will elaborate here now. So, look, this is something very important to understand because, again, the reason why those approaches like the microbiome approach, probiotics, and peptides, and overall, all of these approaches, their main hallmark characteristic is that they optimize the gut. They do not heal that which is allowing all of the problems in the gut to actually happen. Let me explain now. So, for example, in the stomach, let's talk about the stomach specifically because, of course, it was the problem in your case. So, in the stomach, the only way the stomach can actually digest food, which is its main purpose, it's thanks to the gastric juices and the muscle contractions of the stomach. These gastric juices, people more often than not confuse them with just stomach acid, for example, while in reality, there's more. to this liquid that's within our stomach than just acid. It's gastric lipase, intrinsic factor, pepsin, and of course, hydrochloric acid. These four allow the biochemical breakdown of food on the biochemical level. They allow that to happen. While the muscle contractions of the stomach allow for the mechanical breakdown of food. These muscle contractions move the stomach back and forth, back and forth. And these movements allow for all of the food that was ingested in a meal to mix together and to further break down. And if you understand this, you understand that any failure with these two mechanisms leads to, of course, very uncomfortable symptoms like gastritis, symptoms like reflux, symptoms like for example, Shawn feeling very full and bloated after meals. So now, I mean, I ask you, the viewer, if you want to heal these problems, if you want to heal from these digestive inefficiencies in the stomach, what do you need to do? Do you need to provide more apple cider vinegar, more digestive enzymes, more probiotics? You need to allow these biochemical mechanisms of the stomach to work properly once again. It's their failure which is allowing your symptoms to happen. And as Shawn suggested, the main component, the main compound that allows these mechanisms to be truly healthy and functional is acetylcholine. There are many other compounds like histamine, zinc, potassium, ghrelin, many other that are important for stomach function. There's no denying that, and I'm not denying that. But the main one by far, and this is shown in the biochemical literature, is acetylcholine. So if you have any sort of problem with these stomach mechanisms, with digestion in the stomach, more often than not, it can be a lack of acetylcholine. And that's what we focused on with the protocol that we implemented with Shawn to correct acetylcholine status. And now the results speak for themselves. So now the moment of truth. Shawn, can you tell us the kind of results, the kind of improvements that you saw from this kind of protocol?
Well, one, I am not bloated after I eat anymore. I feel completely normal. I feel like I can just go and do my thing right afterwards. Normally, after I would eat, I would have to sit on the couch for like an hour, hour and a half and just like recover from eating. You know, for example, I just ate right now before this interview and I'm fine. I'm normal.
Nice.
So that's a huge symptom that was relieved. Another one that I feel really good about is no more brain fog, no more fatigue. I can actually get up and feel confident in the fact that I'm going to get the things done that I want to do before I go to bed because I have the energy for it. There's not that extra weight dragging me down. And that sharp sludginess is just not even there anymore. And I just feel lighter overall as a human.
Anything that I say about those results, what is there to be said? Like those results, as I said earlier, speak for themselves. And I'm very, 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 very happy for you, mate, that you're now able to live your life without constantly worrying about your gut, about your stomach. I'm very happy for you. Very, very happy.
Thank you, brother. You are a godsend, man. Like I said before, you are an absolute godsend.
Thank you for that. Really means a lot. Thank you. So, well, you already kind of answered this question, but just for the record, so how have these results impacted your daily life, your mood, your lifestyle, your daily routines, your relationships?
One, I feel like I'm definitely more present with people. I'm not like so grumpy when I'm walking around. Like I feel like, especially as a subconscious mind coach as well, for a while I thought there was just something wrong with my mind that I couldn't figure out. But in reality, it was in my body the entire time, you know, because when I'm not healthy, my vibe isn't healthy, that's for sure.
Right.
So being able to be more present with my friends has helped a lot. Being able to be present with my work and not feel so stressed and not question myself if I'm going to get the things done for the day with things that give me and build me confidence with my business. I've been able to completely just stay present and just get my work done and not have to worry about using the bathroom several times throughout the day in order to block me from being able to get the things done I need to get done that are important for me. And that brings me a lot of joy, and that energy bleeds into the way that I am present with my clients.
Bro, it's so good. It's so magnificent to hear all of this, to hear the kind of impact that you can get, all of the improvements that you can get just from following the right approach. And it's just massive. It's just massive. I'm very, very glad that you are in this spot now after years of, yeah, of dealing with those
Yes.
issues. It's just it's just magnificent. Magnificent, absolutely. And now the next section, the conclusion. That was quite fast. So just to conclude the interview, a couple questions to reflect back on everything that we went through together. So, what specific part of the process of working one on one with me stood out the most to you? And not only I'm talking here about the protocol itself, about the approach, but ever since our very first conversation on x.com, formerly known as Twitter, like every part of the protocol, let me know which part really stood the most out to you.
Well, yeah, first, like I brought up earlier, it's just the way that you ask questions and you're able to really dissect the root of the issue before explaining it to me. That one helped me a ton because
Right.
if without that knowing or that explanation of what's going on in my body, then I'd just be taking supplements for the sake of taking supplements, just like before. And I'm not actually being educated on what is happening on a biochemical level inside of me.
Right.
So that really helped a lot because I felt like I could really trust you and not question myself about the process more. And I'm sure that just adds extra stress to the body in itself. So
Yeah,
being able
absolutely.
to just be more calm and open definitely helped me out a lot. Um, Again, your caring nature as well. You weren't trying to push me onto a sales call. You weren't trying to push me into buying. You just wanted to help me. And I like that. You know, I like that. I feel like that's needed nowadays amongst doctors and functional medicine practitioners and you people dealing with health or anything nowadays. That's needed. That level of genuine care is needed nowadays. So,
Right.
that part really much helped me as well. And just the fact of like how patient you are when I ask a lot of questions. So I know I ask a lot of questions. I'm very inquisitive. I like to know more and I like to learn more. Um, and you were able to really help me out with that, man. So I really appreciate it a lot.
It's just I'm just very happy for you. Very, very happy.
Thank
And
you, man.
I really thank you for sharing everything that you just shared right now. It's very, it's just great, right? And what can I say? I really have no words. I do think as well that such kind of care that you talk about, it's, well, it's needed, of course, but I know that we can get there. I know we can get there for sure to have this level of care present all around on the medical system, the conventional one. And I'm not saying that every single one in the conventional medical system or every single functional medicine practitioner, doctor, holistic practitioner is doesn't cares about their patients. No, of course not. There are exceptions, right? But if we are talking about this, it's for a reason because it's
Yes.
something exactly. It's something present. It's not a conspiracy theory, it's present. And I do think that we always have, I would say, a choice to try to be, well, to try to be better. So, yeah, I'm just very happy that I was able to provide to you with the best kind of protocol and, well, approach, and which is more that you healed.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So, now the second question of the conclusion, if someone is dealing with with similar problems to the ones that you once were dealing with and they were considering to work with me, what will you say to them?
I would say definitely hit up Alejandro because he can find some things that your doctors or your functional medicine practitioners are not even potentially even educated about at this time.
Right, right. Well, thank you.
Absolutely, man.
Now the final conclusion question, is there anything else you would like to share about your journey, your recovery, or what this whole one-on-one process that we followed, all of this experience ever since January 2023, all the way up to this very moment. Is there anything else you would like to share about your journey, about your experiences?
Well, I just want to say that like our time together, you've definitely shown me that like healing is possible. You know, there definitely was a time where I was just like ready to just throw up the towel and be like, whatever happens, happens at this point. Fuck it. Like, you know, like I just don't know. This is out of my control and it's slowly killing me, slowly ruining my life. And the fact that you were able to actually help me, man, like I said this plenty of times before, you are an absolute fucking godsend, bro. For real. Like, it's like being able to just feel normal again, it just means the world to me. So I really appreciate that, man, for real.
I'm very happy for you, mate. Very, very happy. And
Thank you,
thank you for
man.
sharing that. And now, yeah, I completely agree that healing, you know, it's possible. And I understand that people may feel hopeless. I mean, you went with doctors, with functional medicine practitioners, with holistic practitioners, you implemented different approaches, and not a single one of those approaches really worked. I understand where that comes from, but I guess that the least that I can say to the people that may be dealing with struggling with health issues and feeling hopeless and feeling those kind of heavy feelings within is that I know it's difficult to believe that healing is possible given your circumstances, but just think about it. If you implement a protocol that focuses on correcting the actual reason, the actual dysfunction that is allowing all of your problems to happen, and if you heal such dysfunction, you will get better. If you have dysbiosis, for example, in the case of dysbiosis, that's another conversation, right? But in the case of dysbiosis itself, our gut is not meant to harbor pathogenic microbes. Our gut is not meant to have parasites. Of course, it's not. And so our gut developed its own ways to prevent that scenario from happening, from unfolding. And these ways are called antimicrobial mechanisms. And so if you have any kind of dysbiosis, just know that these antimicrobial mechanisms in your gut are not very efficient right now, maybe dysfunctional. And so implementing antimicrobials, for example, like oregano oil, like those kind of antimicrobials, even if they remove the dysbiosis, which I'm glad for you because ultimately what matters most is your well-being. But ultimately, remember that such dysbiosis really could have only happened if these antimicrobial mechanisms got dysfunctional. It's them that prevent dysbiosis from happening. So if it happened, well, the antimicrobial mechanisms must have failed. So if you use this kind of methodology, if you focus on actually correcting the dysfunctional biochemical mechanisms in your gut that are allowing, that their dysfunction allows for all of your problems, symptoms, conditions to happen, if you focus on this, you will get better. You will get better. I have seen it in many circumstances, many times, and I know that you will get better and that you can get better. And of course, if there's anything that I can help you with, any question, any doubt, if you need a bit of guidance and you think that I can provide such guidance, I'm always one message away. In Twitter, Instagram, whatever, my at real Alejandro ID, I'm one message away, and I'm sure that you will get better. So that's my conclusion. If there's anything that you would like to add to that, Shawn, let us know. Let's hear it.
No, man, I mean, you said it very well right over there. And I'm just so grateful that you've been able to help me, man, for real. So thank you so much.
No worries, mate. It's truly a pleasure. And again, as I said in the beginning, I'm sure Shawn is great at what he does, and I'm sure that anyone that looks up to him, that looks for his help, will get just the best kind of help possible for everything related to mental programming, confidence, everything related to those aspects. I know because I have seen it. Shawn has helped me personally. He's great, and I'm sure that he will be able to help you as well.
Thank you so much, Alejandro. I appreciate you, brother.
No worries, mate. Thank you for taking the time to get on this call, on this interview with us today, with me today. And yeah, have a good rest of the day.
Thank you, brother. You as well.